Sawadee Kap! Welcome to Break Time with Monte. Today's story, 3D printers. What can be made? From guns to art to clothes, jewelry, and replacement body parts, or even cars. Experts on what will 3D printers be able to copy. 3D printing will change the world. Paris. From replacement kidneys to guns, cars, prosthetics, and works of art, 3D printing is predicted to transform our lives in the coming decades as dramatically as the internet did before it. I have no doubt it is going to change the world, researcher James Craddock told the AFP at the two-day 3D print show in Paris, which wraps up later on Saturday. A member of the 3D printing research group at the UK's Nottingham University, Craddock nevertheless predicted that use of 3D printing would be limited. You wouldn't want to make a cup from a 3D printer because it would probably fall apart, leak, or poison you. But you would use it for high-value, beautiful items or replacement parts, he said. The real revolutionary factor is industrial use, he added. Here's a selection of the potential future uses of 3D printing. Arms. This is one of the more eye-catching prospects and has attracted a lot of publicity. Californian engineering company Solid Concepts said earlier this month it had produced a metal replica of a classic 1911 shotgun. U.S. entrepreneur and inventor Brooke Drum, however, warned that the process of printing a gun would be slow, expensive, and potentially dangerous, requiring lasers at high temperatures, lots of power, and hazardous materials. Drum set up his firm PrintBot to produce printers costing from $400 that print plastic items. Metal printers can cost around $250,000, and the particulates are so fine that your skin could absorb them through the pores. The materials are not safe, he said. The gun itself, unless made out of metal, would also be unreliable. There's a lot of moving parts in a gun, and they need to be precise, he said, adding that he tried to print a plastic gun but gave up because it took so long. Time-wise, if I was going to print a plastic gun and you were going to buy a metal one, even if it took 2 weeks to get approval, I probably still wouldn't have it working first, he said. Art. Fancy a replica of a Viking helmet or one of the Louvre's most famous sculptures on the mantelpiece. American Cosmo Windman has used thousands of photographs taken in some of the world's biggest museums to produce exact plastic copies. Works he has produced include the ancient Greek statue Venus de Milo, which is in the Louvre. If you look at the small print at museums in terms of taking photographs, they say that you cannot put them to commercial use, he said. But from a practical point of view, that is not enforceable. And for antiquities, there is no intellectual property issue, he said. Cars. Canadian Jim Corr's 3D B car is made out of plastic and stainless steel. The futuristic-looking three-wheeler is electric, but uses petrol at higher speeds. Production designer Corr says if a company mass-produced the vehicle, it would be possible to keep the price down to around $16,000. We want it to be the Volkswagen Beetle for the next century. Low cost and long-lasting too, he said. It should last 30-plus years. Our goal is that it should be 100% recyclable. Jewelry. Jewelry can be made to ensure that each piece is slightly different, known as mass customization. 3D printing can also make the production process far less expensive and time-consuming. Dutch jewelry designer Yvonne van Zoomeren produces a range of jewelry made out of lightweight nylon polyamide. All my designs are based on works of art, she said, holding a bracelet that uses a Matisse motif. It enables me to be a jewelry designer much more easily. Otherwise, I would have needed a factory in China and a minimum order of 20,000, she added. When you are producing something for the first time, it means you can adapt and try again very easily until you get the results you want. Prosthetics. Prosthetics can be custom made to provide the perfect match. Electronics could be built in, allowing the recipient accurate control of the limb. It would all be printed out at the same time, said 3DPRG's Craddock. Replacement parts. One-off parts are needed by everyone from NASA to the person who loses an unusual jacket button. Now, today's vocabulary. Accurate, accurate. Ancient, ancient. Antiquities, antiquities. Approval, approval. Arms, arms. Attract, attract. Built-in, built-in. Century, century. Classic, classic. Commercial, commercial. Conference, conference. Custom-made, custom-made. Customization, customization. Dangerous, dangerous. Decades, decades. Dramatically, dramatically. Ecological, ecological. Enforce, enforce. Entrepreneur, entrepreneur. Exact, exact. Exhibition, exhibition. Factor, factor. Fall apart, fall apart fancy fancy firm firm futuristic futuristic hazardous hazardous helmet helmet industrial industrial intellectual property intellectual property inventor inventor issue issue item item jewelry jewelry kidney kidney lasting lasting leak leak limb limb limited limited mantelpiece mantelpiece mass produced mass produced match match material material metal metal model model museum museum outfit outfit perfect perfect petroleum petroleum poison 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 potential potential potentially potentially power power practical practical precise precise predict predict process process production 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 process production process prospects prospects prosthetics prosthetics publicity publicity recipient recipient recyclable recyclable replacement 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 replica replica researcher researcher revolutionary revolutionary sculpture sculpture selection selection stainless steel stainless steel statue statue temperature temperature terms terms the small print the small print time consuming time consuming transform transform unreliable unreliable value value vehicle vehicle, wise, wise, wrap up, wrap up. That's today's story and vocabulary. Have a great day. I'll see you next time here on Break Time with Monte.